Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kedington News Roundup for the beginning of September. Later, we've news of more events coming up this month, but first, here's what you may have been doing so far. Of course, we start with Kedington's own musical and beer festival, Bobstock, which began the month with a proper bang. Well, more of a Since it moved to the community centre and teamed up with the beer festival, Bobstock hasn't looked back. This year boasted an absolutely stunning range of bands, and more beer, and more pies. And they were really nice. 11 hours of music kicked off at lunchtime with the Kedington's youngest band, that I know of, Electrode. An average age of just 11 didn't hold them back any. With covers ranging from Guns N' Roses to Green Day, and of course their signature cover of AC/DC's School's Out for Summer. This was part of an hour of music from Kedington's younger generation. Now, I'm sure there's not a village newspaper in the land that wouldn't say its younger generation are an incredibly gifted lot. But put it this way, I don't think Bobstock's going to be short of acts for the foreseeable future, as proven by young duets like Unique. They were followed on stage by the simply gorgeous voice of Marley Bush.
I wish I was a punk girl with flowers in my hair. In 77 and 69, revolution was in the air.
She was joined for her last song, a cover of Coldplay's Viva La Vida, by her brother Gregory. And spoiler alert, we've got more about him coming up in the events section at the end of the programme.
I used to rule the world. Caesar rise as I gave the word. Now I'm the morning.
The award-winning brass ensemble Tube were next to take to the stage with a collection of often unexpected brass covers. But when it comes to the title of Bobstock regulars, I think few bands have more claim to the name than Quaff.
Moving to the grooving, and just when everything, somebody turned around and shouted, play that funky music rock. Play that funky music rock.
As far as I can recall, various versions of the band have been at every Bobstock since the start. This time saw, if anything, a more eclectic mix than ever before, with a collection of songs by Sweet, Elvis classics, 80s pop, and their twist on When I'm Cleaning Windows. Bloody good bassist they have too. A little sadness at the end of the set, however, when it was announced that this would be the last time for a while that we'd be seeing violinist Susie Bush with the band, as she's decided to take a break. Quaff's Simon and Hugo Sherm kept to the stage and were joined by Ross, a man known previously as the life and soul of the dance floor at Bobstock. However, much as he has previously appeared with Campbelto, this is the first Bobstock where Ross has taken the lead singing role, and he did not disappoint.
Shout, shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. Come on, I'm talking to you. Come on.
Next to the stage was Smoking Joe's Blues Band. I know many of you who were familiar with them from their gig at the centre a few months back were surprised such a hot band were on so early in the day. Alas, they had another gig to get off to. But it's a real testament to how musicians actually want to be part of Bobstock these days that they came down to us especially despite having to rush off to their next gig. Personally, I'm really glad they did, because their set was as smoking as advertised. Change in feel came as Bobstock plunged into a heavy alt-rock set from Meet Me at Dawn. No, that's not a special effect. The camera ran out of battery, so I'm afraid we're on phone cam. Incidentally, if you want to see full versions of these songs without me waffling over the top, check out my YouTube channel. I will be putting up such videos as I can. Now, you may be wondering why Bobstock is such a great family event. Put simply, not only does it start early enough for the kids to come and enjoy some great bands, but should anyone want a break from the music, they can pop outside for a picnic. Anyway, back to the music.
First things first, I'm a relax. Drop this and let the whole world feel it. I'm still in the murder business, I can hold it down. Giving lessons in physics now.
You've probably noticed by now that the musical selection for Bobstock is a very definition of the word eclectic. And indeed, eclectic is how Lisa Porter described her set as the Beer Gut 100 frontwoman started her first ever Bobstock solo set. By the way, don't worry, Beer Gut are still a thing, and indeed will be playing up at the Hunt and Plough on Sunday the 27th of September. Lisa's set lived up to her word and had everything from a New Orleans jazz style cover of No Diggity to the Victoria Wood classic Let's Do It Tonight. She even managed to get Bobstock's own and very eponymous Bob up on stage for a rendition of Hit the Road Jack. A welcome appearance in a year when Bob didn't have a single one of his own bands in the show.
So if I sing a song, can you sing it back to me? Sing a line to the song, sing it back to me. To the chorus. See if you can sing this. Go light the lantern at your door. Try that. Go light the lantern at your door. Very, very good.
As we entered into the early evening, Andy Adams brought us to a more gentle pace with a beautiful selection of folk ballads, the audience joining in, and Bob again made it up onto the stage to join Andy in a Stereophonics cover.
Thinking back, thinking of you, summertime thinking was due. Yeah, it was due.
Feel like getting the grass, chewing gum, having some left. We haven't fallen. Made me feel like one. Made me feel.
Now, at this point, Bobstock went in an entirely new direction as DJ Kassler, otherwise known as Joel Stippick, gave us Bobstock's first ever DJ set. There was much uncertainty beforehand about how well a DJ set would go down at what had hitherto been a live music event. But DJ Kassler's mix of ambient and progressive house won the crowds over immediately, as evidenced by the first full dance floor of the evening, and set up the crowd nicely for the two final acts of the night. The first of those two acts were the Ninjas of Rock, who, frankly, should have their ninja cards revoked. Ninjas are meant to be silent, whereas these guys go up to 11. The crowd loved it, and there was much rocking, and I would have filmed more, but I was dancing. You may have noticed we're back to using the proper camera again. And a special thanks to Tony Trott for plugging it into the sound desk computer to recharge. Tony was one of the night's 2 soundmen and guitarist and motive force behind the final band of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you your headliner, Stereo Jacks. After huge success at last year's Bobstock, Stereo Jack returned with a new lead singer, Daisy Webb, and the crowd loved it. So did I. There was much boogieing on down, and quite rightly so. A storming roundup to Bobstock, and I know they've already been asked to come back next year. What a way to start September. The following weekend was a little more sedate. It brought us to the Kedington Horticultural Show, a chance for parishioners of Kedington to show off their horticultural and culinary talents. With the cakes near the door, you sure got the most wonderful whiff of those culinary talents as you walked in, and it smelt like a very good year. On the other hand, it's been a tough year for the gardeners, with some classes receiving no entries at all this year. Indeed, even the winner of the Bunch of Carrots class offered quite a challenge to the most amusing vegetable or fruit class, which incidentally came courtesy of the Sherm family. This said, it did seem to be a good year for marrows and tomatoes, apart from that one. As well as the fruit and veg, there were some wonderful displays of flowers. Also, from the junior section, some genuinely impressive craft entries. The overall winner was the person who picked up the most points across all the classes. This year, that was John Brett. Following the event, items from the show were auctioned off to raise money for church funds. And I'm told that some of the cakes were starting at £3. We've had a fun start to the month, I'm sure you'll agree. But September's not over yet, and the second half of the month is not devoid of things to do. Contrary to reports in certain local newspapers, the first of these happens at 7:30 this Friday night. That's the 18th. And the man to tell us about it is Gregory Bush. So, Gregory, what delights have you got for us this Friday?
Well, it's a charity gig in aid of the Multiple Sclerosis Society. I've chosen this charity because my mum suffers from MS herself, so I'm hoping they will help her. We've got many acts, well, about sort of 7 or 8. So we've got Kian Harris, a lot of people know him, he's local. Tony Trott, very local.
Stereo Jacks,
both in the band that is Stereo Jacks. My sister Marlies Bush has played at Bobstock very few times. She's fantastic as well.
Wonderful singer.
I'm doing a set with Bob Della, absolutely superb. There's the trio of Simon, Ross and Hugo. And then finally we've got 2 superb female singers, which is Lisa Porter, who we actually got from listening to her at Bobstock, is absolutely fantastic. And then there's Rachel Clark, who I know from the college I go to in Cambridge. And she is a superb singer-songwriter, has performed at the Junction in Cambridge many times, had her songs played on Radio 1, and she's up and coming, so she's big deal. So hopefully it should be a superb night. Very chilled.
Radio 1, Radio 2 and 6 music, yeah. So whichever your style of music is, she's probably going to fit into it somewhere.
She's brilliant, and I mean they're going to have a raffle, pound in a bucket, roll the pound towards the scotch bottle if that's your thing, and just it should be a really nice chilled evening. Bring your own refreshments if that's alcohol, your choice, whatever. So it should be brilliant, so I'd hope to see as many people there as possible.
So bring your own food and drink and just enjoy it. And how much to get in?
How much? £5 for adults, £4 concessions, which is students or pensioners, and then under 12s are free. So I mean, bring your family, bring your friends, and just be there. Doors open at 7 o'clock.
Starts at 7:30. Goes on till you're
Shouldn't
finished.
go too long, about 10:30 at the latest. So it should be a really enjoyable night.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, I'm certainly planning to be there. Not just because the camera. It sounds like a wonderful evening, and and the concert isn't the only thing coming up this month. On Friday the 25th, Kedington Community Centre plays host to a Macmillan Coffee Morning in aid of Macmillan Cancer Support. It's running from 10 a.m. till noon, and not only will it help support those suffering from cancer, but there will be cake.
That's why we'll be there.
So, that's about it for this month. Our next video should be out just before, well, just in time to tell you what's coming up this October. So, if you have any events coming up in October, get in contact with me by whatever means you prefer. If you want to see our next episode, you could subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you'll see videos of some of the full songs from Bobstock, including Marley's Bush, Simon Hugo and Ross, and also Lisa Porter for that matter. All brilliant sets, and they're all going up on the channel when I get a chance. And of course, for next month, some stuff from
Hopefully my concert.
It should be absolutely excellent. As I say, if you want to see it, subscribe to YouTube or go to kedingtonnews.co.uk. It will go up there, and also there'll be a link there to my Facebook page where I always announce any videos that are going up. If you want your friends to know what's going on in Kedington, please like and share this video. Until next time, cheerio.
I like that ending.